Yeah. And
All right.
what I just had Cool, the guy who goes with the hula hoop.
Yeah.
He just came, he just left, and he came.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good to have you. This is my beautiful
Is it on?
friend.
Oh, it's recording.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is my beautiful friend Nathan. We've been friends for ages, and he's, of course, you would be familiar with him. He's a public figure. He does Byron Bay FM show for a long time, and this is the friend that I don't really call him Nathan, but I call him Funky Jesus.
She has called me Funky Jesus for a long time. And it probably made sense when my hair was out and I'm on stage going,
yes.
No.
Well,
blessing people.
Blessing you.
Blessing.
With music. With music. And acting.
Acting.
We get to see you acting. And
Yeah.
What else about Nathan? There's a lot of things to share about Nathan, and lots of albums you've made, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you're more into the music than the acting? And by the way,
Well,
thank you for coming, for being here.
Most welcome. Thanks for having me.
Sorry.
No, it's a good question. I'm in music all the time. Do I prefer music to acting? See, there's multiple levels to your question, and something that maybe a lot of people don't understand when you with people like myself who have more than one string to their bow.
Yes.
And in fact, I'll qualify that. I think everyone has more than one string to their bow. That's my honest opinion. I think everyone has multiple talents. However, the question regarding acting and music, I'm more in music. I do music for a living at the moment. And it is an art form that I've always I've always been leaning on.
Yes.
Personally, as part of my therapy and my evolutionary tool, which started at a very young age, and it's also what I lean on to feed my family and keep a roof over their head. So it's what I earn a living from. Is it my highest passion? I guess most people would assume that. I love acting. So if we were to strip, do I need to be next to this?
No,
What kind of mic
it's
is it?
okay. You can be fine.
So if we were to strip, or place acting and music under an umbrella, it is. Well, it's under performing arts, it's on creative arts,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so a lot of things fall under those banners. I'm a trained dancer, even though I don't do that as a living. I love movement.
Yes.
I draw portraits. So that's not under performing arts, but it's under creative arts. I've written so many film scripts and play scripts and stuff over the years, particularly when I was younger, because I wanted to express in that way.
Yes.
So that's over the creative and performing arts umbrellas, but above and beyond that, all of those things belong in storytelling. And storytelling is probably the core connecting point with all cultures throughout humanity around the planet. We all have storytelling of various forms. Of course, obviously, storytelling in its most common form, which is telling stories, but writing and singing a song, or even singing someone else's song, is storytelling.
It's true.
Acting in a play or a film, whether you've written the script or you're embodying the character within something else that somebody else has written, is storytelling. If you're painting something, you're not just painting someone or an object or whatever. You're telling a story about, like, what we look at this painting here and we're like, it's telling a story. And whilst that story may be open to interpretation from the viewer, the artists themselves had something in their heart, in their mind, in their consciousness. And so that's what I am first and foremost.
Yes.
A storyteller.
Yes.
I mean, I could probably go further in that and get philosophical and spiritual, and there is that in there as well. But So whether it takes the form of music or acting or drawing or dancing or martial arts, that's where I draw those places from, and then these different forms are places where I personally will express in any given moment, and they also fulfill different aspects of my consciousness and the different aspects of mental and emotional well-being. And so acting was my first career.
Oh, that's
right?
the first
A lot of people
one.
don't know that. That was my first career. So I okay. I think this is the bit that will probably be most interesting to people watching, listening, and maybe also embedded within this story of how I got into it all. There are strong keys that others can use by listening to how I came into this stuff, that it all being me. So when I was in my sort of mid-teens, I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was pretty wild youth. And it wasn't until later on I realized that actually that living on the edge of and pushing the boundaries of society and people around me and all that kind of stuff was actually a storyteller and performing and creative artist looking for the thrill that you get when you're expressing those things, but doing it in dysfunctional ways.
Yes.
And so, I dropped out of school at the start of year 11 when I was 16. And I tried to get some kind of office job, all I could get at the time was working in a chicken shop. And I was vegan at the time. And this is before vegan was a term.
Selling chickens? Or
gutting chickens, cooking chickens, frying, like Big Rooster, like Red Rooster in the southern states, Big Rooster in Queensland.
Oh, I see.
I was living in Queensland. And I was vegan, which wasn't even a thing.
That's crazy.
Right? And so, which is absolutely crazy. And I hated the job. I got treated like absolute crap. I was being paid $4.84 per hour.
You were 16?
Yeah. And because I dropped out of school, my dad was trying to teach me about life, so he made me pay rent. It was a tiny amount, really, but it was to show me that, certain portions of your money is not your money. Yeah, you might get the paycheck or the pay pack or, these days deposits. But you got to take away what's not yours. And what's not yours is all your bills, and then whatever's left over is your money. But unless you're saving for something. So he was trying to teach me how to save. He was trying to teach me about life. So I was paying my $25 a week rent.
Yes.
And I was putting money away, trying to save. But the things that got me through that year, so I did that for a year when I was 16, was I would try and make that first block of work the longest when I had the most energy, and then I'd have my little half-hour break. And, well, I'm really going, but this is the long route, people. I'm just kidding.
It's good.
Half-hour break, 5 minutes of eating.
Yeah. That's
my little
crazy.
salad.
That's crazy.
And then I'd spend the next 25 minutes meditating. It was the only thing I could to keep my whole system from breaking down.
Yes.
And I'd already been meditating from the age of 10 because of martial arts. So I was already a black belt in karate by this stage, by the way.
Okay.
And martial arts taught me about meditation and the benefits of it. And so I was doing 25 minutes to get me through those last few hours at the end of the day, which were always brutal.
Wow.
And then after work, I'd get picked up and go home, or I'd catch 2 trains and a bus, depending on who was if someone could pick me up or not.
How far was it from?
That was miles away. Yeah. And then I'd get ready, get my gear, go and train in Aikido. Okay. I did that every night of the week. And then on the weekends, I go out. Even though I was only 16, I was getting into clubs. So I'd go in club and party and like dance and pick up girls and all of that stuff. And that was my release at the end of a week. And, you know, most people who work a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 thing in a job they don't like or they tolerate, usually use the weekend to release, let go. So I was doing that.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, I'd saved... It was $1,523, right?
Wow.
Which was pretty good, considering I was earning $4.84 an hour.
I know, I was about to say that.
And we'd moved to an island in Queensland, a little island, me and my dad and my little sister and our dog and cat. And it was, I was just there going, I cannot do this schlepping kind of work anymore. I need to get an education. I need to go back to school, right? I was like, no, this is no way. And my dad, he tried to give me some good advice, and he said, he's Cockney. He's like, you should join the forces, son. And so I applied for the Navy. I almost signed up. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Anyway. As a communications officer in a submarine.
Jeez, in a submarine.
So you get your 4 years of training, and then you have to, whether you get a degree or an apprenticeship, you do 4 years, and then you do 4 years of service. So it's 8 years of your life.
Yes.
And I was so close.
Oh, wow.
You know, I shaved almost all my hair off. I had a little...
Your beautiful curls
I was just,
gone.
boom, I went in, I almost signed up. And I'm sitting on the beach on this island going, oh, man, like, no, what if I don't get into that?
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, well, you're really good with electronics. You pull things apart and make them, fix them. And I had a natural propensity for technology. And I could write basic programs and stuff on computer.
Oh, that's cool.
I was a bit of a nerd as well, secretly.
Great.
And a chess champion too, by the way.
Wow.
Don't tell anyone.
You don't tell anyone.
Total nerd. And so he was trying to get me to do an electrician's apprenticeship, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I called my mum. I had a spliff and I called my mum. And she went, and I said to her, you know, I need to get an education. The closest school is 2.5 hours away.
Oh.
I had to catch a ferry or water taxi, a train and a bus.
Wow.
That's 5 hours per day of travel. So 2.5 and 2.5. And I'm like, how?
How is it going to happen, yeah.
And then she went, and I said, we were talking and I said, I've been dancing every weekend and some of the clubs have been paying me to go up on the podium to dance.
No way.
So
you would have been
I won breakdancing competitions and stuff, so they put me up.
That's
and just not much money, but I would have done it for free. I was like on front, and, and the girls would notice, and it was good. It was good for me. I was fine.
You were young.
But they were going to pay me, And she went, oh, well, there's a performing arts school near where I live. She lived in Sydney. And I was like, what? Like Fame? You know, the movie?
Yes.
Fame, I'm gonna live forever. I'm like, what? Really? That they have those things? She went, yeah, I'll give them a call. And she called them up and she called me back and she said, they're looking for dancers, male dancers. Come down and audition. And I was like, they're what? Huh?
Yeah.
And I just went, okay, no worries. And I went to my bedroom and I put clothes in a bag, zipped them up. I caught the ferry and 2 buses to my dad's work with my bag packed. And I went, Dad, I'm catching a coach like this evening. And he was like his tears were welling up. He's like, what do you mean? What? I'm leaving. I'm moving out. All it's like bam, bam. Because I just felt the pull.
Yeah, because...
No warning, but I felt the pull. And I had to make that decision. And he was just like, I gave him no options. And he would never, in his wisdom, he was always, this is your life.
Yes.
Whether I approve of your choices or not doesn't matter. Yeah. This is your life. I don't think it's good to do this, but
your choice.
You have to make the choice, and then you make that bed. You have to sleep in it if it doesn't work out. And he was right. So I went down. I auditioned as a dancer. I got in as a dancer into this performing arts school. But what that opened the door for was that I could do dance, music, acting and art, all the things that I loved already.
Yes.
And then just some basic subjects to get your HSC.
Wow.
And Mum had this caravan in her concrete backyard in Newtown. And so I kind of had my own place as well. Yeah. So I'm feeling like, yeah. And so I didn't have a pesky parent. Not that she was like so loose anyway. Yeah. And I would turn up to school at 7 in the morning and do 2 hours of preschool, like before the school even started, 2 hours of dance training. And one of the teachers, bless him, just recognized that I was passionate about it and you know, I needed some. So I did a bit of dancing when I was younger, but I needed kickstart in, and they needed someone that was well trained and they could see I could focus. So every morning 2 hours of dance, and then it'd be another hour or two of dance later on in the day at some point when that subject came up, and then after school I would have either a couple of hours of acting, a couple of hours of music, or a couple of hours of dance. And if I didn't have those things, which most of the time I did, I would go to the theatre and I would learn about lighting and sound, because we had 2 theatres in that school. But I was just there, feed me. I don't care about socialising with the kids.
Yes.
Because I'd worked for a year.
You knew.
And I was like, I want to be good at this shit, you know, like... I don't, there's no room for failure. I do never want to be a kitchen hand in some crappy fast food place ever again in my life. It was a vow.
Yes.
I broke that vow, but it was a vow. I broke that vow once to help my mum out. But, and so that was the template.
Yes.
And I was literally there for 10 hours or more each day. And I had to help my mum. She was a single mum. My little brother and sister, I have an Aboriginal stepfather. They're half Aboriginal, same mum, different dad. She would do double shifts of nursing, and so I would have to go pick them up and look after them. So
babysitting at the same time.
Yeah, I was like a surrogate dad because Yabu ended up moving out, or she kicked him out because he went a bit crazy. And so, doing family duties and training, just training in creative and performing arts.
Consistent
in passion.
Focus.
But I had a martial artist, because I got a black belt, I knew what it was like to train, and I knew what it was like to set goals. And this is the thing about martial arts that I absolutely love, and I always encourage every parent to send their kids to martial arts, is the belt system.
Oh.
A lot of people in the martial arts world go, oh, belts not important. Oh, they are. And this is why they are. You got this black belt, this mystical, amazing thing that's way down the track. It takes a long time of dedicated focus to get there in most martial arts. But you got these belts in between, these different coloured belts.
Yes.
And sometimes tips, mini belts. And then within that, there's all of these micro goals you have to set in order to get the techniques right, to get the mini belts and the major belts until you get there. So what it teaches you is there are multiple layers of this. Yes. It's self-discipline, obviously.
Yes.
A lot of people think martial arts is about fighting or protecting yourself. And there is that. But it's more about mastery, self-mastery. Mastering this faculty that we have and starting with the mind. Using, it's meditation in movement. And so what martial arts taught me was that you got this big goal that you have to aim at, but you can't keep your mind there. You've got to aim at the other goals, the mini goals. Now, when you're learning something, whether it's, guitar, there's no belt system in a guitar, right? Or whatever. But there are, like in martial arts, you have to do thousands of punches, thousands of kicks, thousands of stance movements and breath work. And in guitar, you have to do thousands of scales. You have to do and chord changes and da-da-da-da. And you have to immerse yourself in whatever you're trying to learn. You need to immerse yourself in that world and embody it. And if you do it if you're learning something new, you should embody it for a few years. Then you can, once you've reached a certain level of mastery, you're able to focus on other things. But those first few years of anything you're learning, just dive into it and immerse it and be that for that period of time. So I learnt that, and that's what I was applying to all the performing creative arts. It was like that sort of level of self-discipline. And so even when I was at home, I would be doing some kind of practice.
Yes.
Now, just before my 17th birthday, I went to the movies and saw 2 movies back to back. And one of them was Mel Gibson's Hamlet.
Oh, yes.
And so, Australian actor doing Hamlet. And I was starting to get into Shakespeare at that point. Strange thing for a 16-year-old to do, I guess, but that's where it was. And I was listening to jazz music, because of dance, contemporary dance. And then the next film was Romper Stomper, with an Australian film with Russell Crowe.
I've heard of this.
Oh, it's brutal, it's intense, but the acting, Russell Crowe was just, they were all amazing. But Russell Crowe was phenomenal. And I saw those 2 films. I was in the cinema. I'm looking up at the screen and I just went, I want to do that. And I made this kind of intention at that point. I'm looking at that big screen and I just went, that was magical. I got completely transported into both of those worlds. I was completely immersed in those stories. And I saw the magic that they were creating, because the thing about movies is it's a combination of the art of acting, costume, music, design, lighting. It's all of the art forms all melded into one. If you take something out, you take music out of that, a lot of movies fall flat. And I can talk about that later. I remember, with my band, The Dream Seeds, one iteration of it, Dharma was over. Yes. He was the bass player of my band, Adam, his brother, and a whole bunch of others. And we were watching The Matrix.
Yes.
As to get ready to go and see The Matrix 2, Reloaded. So but on the DVD, I could turn the speaking off and only have the music, and they didn't notice. Music is so important. Anyway, that's another tangent brought to you by Nathan. Back to the story. So I saw these 2 films and I looked at the screen and I went, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be on the big screen. That's where I'm going to be. Which means I need to be on the small screen. Okay, so how do I become an actor?
That's always a question for many people who are interested in this.
In whatever you're interested in. And that week, I got open the Yellow Pages, because that's when we had the freaking Yellow Pages. Yes. Now you got Google and everything else.
You can access this information any strangers
from your phone. So I opened up the Yellow Pages, looked up acting agents, and then I went literally knocking on the doors. I want to be an actor. One of them was like, oh, okay. I think they're... people are generally pretty shocked when you're front up.
Yes.
Even those days. And I signed up with an agent. I got my photos done. They were the ugliest, worst photos ever. I was wearing the most ridiculous shade. Nobody gave me any direction of what I was supposed to look like.
You were 17.
I was 17. I just turned 17. And I had the gaffiest look on my face. I wish I still had that photo, because it's so bad. It's so bad. Anyway.
It's a historical photo.
They needed a photo. All actors need their 8x10 or whatever, this shot. I had no credits or anything, but my, blonde hair, blue-eyed.
Handsome, 17 years old.
No. So 3 weeks later, they sent me to my first audition. Wow. And I'm like, still... This is the key point. This is the key before I get to that. Every night before I went to sleep, as I'm lying there, I'd see myself on the big screen. I'd see myself on that big screen every night. And then when I woke up, I'd just take a moment to see. It only takes a few seconds. It doesn't have to be a big long-winded thing. But I'd visualize myself on the big screen, how that feel, all that stuff. And so, and then during the day, I was too busy studying and training and da-da-da. But if I had a moment, usually on the toilet, wherever you got a spare moment, visualize.
The toilet is an amazing space.
It's an amazing space. It's very underrated. if you're flicking through on your screen on your phone, you're wasting time. You need to look at your dreams. But so I'd see myself I went for my first audition. Actually, before I get to that, a little preamble about visualization. When I was 10, turning 11, I started getting warts.
Oh.
Warts on my knees and warts on my hands, and then I was like, it was the being gross, and I didn't want them, and I was embarrassed by them, and all that stuff. And then my dad had left this book out called Psycho-Cybernetics, which is all about training your mind. And I just read the back, and I read some pages, and it gave me enough. It just said you need to say affirmations and visualize. So I visualized it gone, and I was saying, these warts must go away, the warts will go with emotion. And I did that before going to sleep. When I woke up, and any spare moment in the day, a week and a half later, all my warts were gone.
Wow,
right?
Powerful, so powerful.
And so I'd learnt that when I was 11, or just turning 11.
I'm having goosebumps.
Good. And so I knew that worked. So I was there going, seeing myself on the big screen, and I turned up for my first audition, and I was just stoked to be there.
Yeah.
To audition was like the performance.
To be
So I got there and I performed the thing, and I just knew I had it.
But you never actually acted before, and that's the thing.
No,
that's
I've never acted before. Yeah.
First.
But I mean, I imagined acting.
Yeah, of course. You
I
envision,
did stuff in my home. I would read scripts and try and act them out, but not done in front of anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I did it, and I just had so much fun, but I also knew. I knew in that moment I got it, but I didn't care. I just, and they were like, I could see them looking there, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I left, and then my agent called me an hour later saying, you got the job. And I'm like, yeah. Wow. And they were like, we sent you to your first audition. You got the first audition. What?
Straight up.
And so here's the fascinating part, and this is why I wanted to tell this story.
Yeah.
I rock up to the shoot.
Yeah, the shoot. Yeah.
And I'm kind of, when I walked in, I was a bit like, I was excited, of course,
yes.
but also my experience of work at that point, years of working in as a kitchen hand, because I did part-time as well before that, and all my experiences of work was you get treated like crap, and you just put your head down and you do your job and you get out, So I wasn't sure, and I was a bit nervous, and I walk in and they're all like,
lovely.
I was the talent.
Yes.
There was no other actors. I was the only one on screen. Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's no
right?
substitute. You're
I had
hired.
no idea.
You're hired for the job. You're important.
Right? And the wardrobe girls are doing like, and
Ooh la
then
la.
the makeup girls and hair, and
Wow.
I'm just going, oh wow, and they're treating me so nicely, and I was like,
Opposite.
oh well, okay, and then I do the job, and it was for a Nintendo TV commercial that was only to be aired in America, not in Australia, and in the ad, I'm eating pizza. And I only very vaguely what it was, but watching TV, eating pizza, and then something happens, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I want to play a game. And, it's a full day shoot, so I'm eating pizza all freaking day.
Yes.
I used to like pizza.
Right. Oh, well.
They had a bucket. They went, at first, they put a bucket near me to, don't eat it because we've made it extra cheesy, so it really pull, and then they like give me another fresh bit, for each take, and I was like, what do you mean don't eat it? I was from a poor family. We were poor, and Mum could barely afford anything.
It's free food.
I used to sneak off to the Hare Krishnas to get food because Mum would cook meat and I didn't eat meat, so
you're vegetarian.
I'd go there, and I'm going, what do you mean? I'm eating this shit, you know what I mean? And then after a couple, I was like,
oh.
Anyway,
my God.
End of the day, you would never guess how much I got paid for that job.
No, please tell me. I'm curious.
Okay, I'm not going to make her guess. That would be really...
At least high or low? No, high or low?
Okay, no, I'll tell you, because this is the bit that just made me understand that there is a super consciousness in the universe. There's something beyond... I mean, I already had this understanding, but this really nailed it home. I got $1,523, which is the
1,000.
exact amount I'd saved up the year before.
No.
That took me all year to save in one day. Right? In one day's work. The exact amount. And I was just like, no way.
Mind blowing.
And of course, a wardrobe girl picked me up as well. So I got paid, I got laid. 17. I'm going, they're treating me well. I get paid well. I get, everything's good.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm going to get good at this shit.
Yeah.
And so I literally just went, I was reading plays, I was practicing plays, I was buying film scripts. There was one little bookstore in the city in Sydney that was dedicated just to theatre. And you go up this creepy old elevator in this old building and go in there, and there's this, it was so cute. I love the place. And it was my like fantasy bookstores were a fantasy land for me anyway. That's a whole nother story. But and I'd buy film scripts and play scripts and learn them.
Yes.
And imagine being in, acting them and all that kind of stuff. Then my agent sent me to another audition, I got that, and another audition, I got that, and they just went,
wow,
we're going to just try and get him on
non-stop.
This is our racehorse,
Yes.
And so they were trying to get me in on everything they could possibly get me in on, even though, my hair was growing out and I was looking in a particular way and not looking like a mainstream kind of thing, but it was perfect because it was like a niche.
Yes.
And boys in that niche couldn't act. So almost ensured the very few roles that would come up for that, but when that role came through, I would get it because I was learning.
You
how to
could
act.
do it. Yeah.
And still the visualization was happening. So then I started getting small roles on TV shows like E Street, and I remember getting stoned with Simon Baker Denny, who ended up becoming a big Hollywood actor, in the back of a police car. So funny.
What a life.
I was 17. So to cut through the chafe, getting 2 years later,
yes,
I auditioned for my first film, Muriel's Wedding.
Muriel's Wedding, there you go.
And it was the first film I auditioned for.
Wow.
I was auditioning for the role of Muriel's brother.
Right.
And I went in there, I did the audition, and they went, they loved me. They were like, but you don't look anything like
Muriel.
Like any of Muriel's family. Like, can you come back for a callback audition? And they gave me a different script, and I learnt that, and I came back a couple of days later, and did that, nailed that, and they went, okay, the producers want to meet you. And I was like, okay, great.
Wow.
And so I came back that was that one. So the producers met me, and they were, what was their name? Morehouse or whatever, but they were stoked, and the director wants to meet you. You're not, this is, and I did the audition for him, and he was like, yeah, you're Chook, because he wrote it and directed it.
Yes.
PJ Hogan.
Okay.
You're Chook. You are so Chook. This is perfect. You've got that role. So I got my first film role, and that was an experience unto itself. It's a tiny role, really, but it's still in an iconic film.
Yes.
And it.
And you did really well in it.
Oh, thank you. And it was a notorious character within the film.
Yeah.
People remembered for some reason.
I remember.
Which just because I never took it. I was stoked that I was in a film. Don't get me wrong, but Australian films up to that point just weren't successful.
Yeah. Right.
It you know, and I want to get bigger roles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it came out about a year later. It was 1994. And I was sitting in the cinema for the red carpet event, the opening. And I'm there looking at myself on the big screen going,
wow, it happens.
And here's another thing, and you'll shake your head. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at, and I'm like, I was in the same cinema.
No way.
The exact screen, right? And because that was the screen I made the decision on, that was the screen I would see. And there I am seeing the premiere on the same screen, not in the same seat, but in the same freaking cinema.
Yeah.
And I was just like, my girlfriend going,
Exactly. The deja vu kind of thing.
Not deja vu, just a confirmation that the decisions you make, the firm decisions you make, and that you visualize with consistency. And this is where people get wrong. They think
consistency of practice as well, not just the consistency of practicing,
exactly.
Not just the.
So this is the thing. People, you remember when The Secret became a popular film and book?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So The Secret was talking about the law of attraction.
Yes.
And, you know, which stems from multiple ancient mystical traditions, including the Kabbalah.
Yeah.
And the thing that people made a mistake with that was that they think it's just visualization, but it's exactly what you just said.
Not just here.
The visualization is like the anchor you throw into the future.
Yes.
And grip onto.
Yes.
And then the pulling along to get to that vision, which you need to keep there, because if you're trying to aim at a target that's vague, you lose the energy to make the consistent action happen.
Yes.
And the consistent action was all the training, was all of the emotional and mental and physical energy pouring forth towards that target. And this also brings me to another point, and I actually made it on the radio show today.
Yes.
Another point where you can't live your life in the future.
Exactly.
Right? And they say to be present. I don't believe I think a lot of people misunderstand, well, you got to be in the now, and oh my God, and be present, and they're lying.
But probably
being
because
present with what you're doing is important.
Yes.
And I'll give you a practical example. A hunter is hungry. Mm-hmm. His family's hungry. I'm talking, hunter-gatherer.
Yes.
So, if they were just being present, they wouldn't feel the motivation to hunt and get that kill, skin it, and make the food so that the food could be made. Mm-hmm. You need to have a target. You need to have the drive. Mm-hmm. So the hunger is the drive to aim for that target. And you need to have a selfish reason, I'm hungry, and an altruistic reason, my family's hungry, my tribe is hungry, right? Mm-hmm. There needs to be a selfless and a selfish thing in your target.
Yes.
Always. Sometimes when the selfish part that pulls you along loses its meaning, you have the altruistic part that helps get you through the certain humps or plateau phases.
Yes.
Sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes the grand kind of I'm a saint aiming for something altruistic is not personal enough, and sometimes you need that selfish desire and need ticked as well in there to get you through certain plateaus and certain obstacles.
Yes.
So this has turned into a motivational
but
workshop.
this is really cool. I'm enjoying this. I'm
glad. So
I can resonate with this, really.
So you need to be present with what you're learning, what you're training with what you're in, as the process is so enjoyable. But I can tell you something. When I first started playing guitar and I couldn't make the chord changes in time with the song, that was painful. It fucking annoyed me.
I still have that problem.
Right?
Big problem.
And I mean, I get little, I just did 2 chords in a row, all that stuff, right? But because of karate, I want to do fancy kicks. I don't want to do this thing anymore. But then I'm in a sparring thing and I'm boom, boom. And then, right, that's what those, thousands of times of doing those techniques enabled me to be ready for. And yes, it is fun doing the fancy kicks, don't get me wrong, and the fancy techniques. It's the same in acting, same in music. So the point is that you need to be training through, so once you start getting all the chords you need and then you can sing a song or you can write a song, there's a magic that happens because suddenly it's like, if you keep training, you get to this point where you're not having to think.
Yes.
And then the music does its thing. Same with acting. Initially, you have to think about the lines. You have to think about what the motivations are. You have to think about all of the things to bring it off the page and create a living being. But eventually, that stuff becomes second nature because you've been training for so long.
Yes.
And then you have the real fun. Then you have the real fun. Then you have the real fun. All of it, doesn't matter what it is, once you get to over these sort of learning humps and you're going up and up in your understanding whilst keeping the foundations going, you never stop doing scales. You never stop doing the basics whilst you learn the bigger stuff, right? But every time, once you get to a certain point, a certain level of mastery, they say 10,000 hours, right? That's about 3 years of daily focus.
Yes.
And intended focus to get to a certain level. Then you're playing. You're creating. You're making. You're in that present. That is why you do all that stuff in the present moment. And what gets you through all of that is also having little targets and little goals, whether it's a black belt, whether it's being on the screen, whether it's playing in front of 10,000 people, music, whatever it is. And I'm not saying, like, if you're wanting to learn a musical instrument out there, for me, music is a gift to myself first and foremost, as in it's personal for me. It's gotten me through the toughest times and lifted me up. And it's gotten me through the highest times and lifted me up and yet grounded me, It's a gift to yourself, and if you never play for anybody else and it's just something you have personal, that is so important. That's your foundation. There's a goal there too, though, isn't there? Because you want to be able to play those songs just for yourself in your bedroom by yourself.
And you want to sound nice.
There's still a goal. There's still a target. So whatever it is, still the target. It doesn't have to be in front of thousands of people. It doesn't have to be grand like that.
Yes.
I don't do, when I do drawings and portraits, I don't do those for anybody else's benefit. But when I've won awards with my art, funny enough, I don't talk about it much. But when I was younger, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I never intended that. That was so personal. It's just a couple of hours of me being in this zone. Be present, have goals. I couldn't draw a face straight away. I had to learn how the face was structured, and that needed a fine tuning of my observation skills. And that's the same with dance. I wanted to do those moves that Michael Jackson did, and that MC Hammer, whoever else I was looking at, and Prince and blah blah blah. I'm like, and so you look in the mirror and you try and do the certain move. Same with karate. Same with it's observation.
Yes.
You have to fine-tune your observation skills. Doesn't matter what it is that you learn. You're learning from a teacher, this or whatever it is. You're observing, and then you're copying, and then you're.
Yeah.
If I was ever asked what skill or what thing you need to learn the most in life, it would be learn how to observe. And what's one of the biggest things with observation? Shut the fuck up and listen. Look.
it's true. Quite often we walk into a room, right? Let's say whether it's a cafe or a friend's living room or a kitchen, we're talking to a friend. I think we are very often occupied with trying to declare our presence to the rest. Let's say at the party, I'm here, notice me, where the very absence of our presence is that we don't observe in great details what's happening around the room, because we are only about projecting ourselves. And so you don't notice when someone is like scratching the ear, the side of their face very slightly, and while they're talking, or while I'm talking maybe to somebody and I notice an ant crawl on a crack of a wall, or maybe a drop of liquid on a floor, while somebody is standing next to the liquids of wine next to their shoes. We don't notice the great details like this. And so
observation.
Yes, observation. And I guess when you talk about the preservation with the focus on practicing, it makes me think that I guess when you have to learn your lines, you would just worry about remembering all the words, all the lines first. Then later, because you already have the acting skill, then you can do the surface in character easily once you know the lines. Because the worst thing is to go and say, I can act, but I don't remember my lines. I don't make an effort to.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually is an interesting thing with learning lines, because it's like a muscle, any muscle that you need to train.
Brain muscle exercise.
And memorization is a muscle, and most people are intimidated by lines, including many actors.
Wow.
Or at least for a long time, many are. I think this is where the goal really happens to help you, because if you, and this is coming back to the observation thing, what makes you become an observant person? Some of us are naturally just observant, and some aren't naturally observant. And I would say those that aren't naturally observant, a large portion of them are worried about what other people think of them. And if you are hyper fixated, and this is most of society, and worried that what will they think of me if this, right? What is that? That is and I'm sorry for people out there who feel this, and I'll say this to you, this is like your backhander to snap you out of it, because what it is the highest form of selfishness. You're so worried about what everyone is thinking of you, means that you're not actually concerned about their welfare. You're not concerned about them. And if everybody in that room, we all have ego, and we all want to be accepted, and we are a social species, so we've survived and evolved because of that. But that aside, what makes us conscious beings? And if you are, and like everyone comes into a room and they're all worried about what everyone else is thinking, and then it's why in Australia, Australian culture is so consumed by tall poppy syndrome, right? And I've actually, decades ago, recoined this to small poppy thinking, because for those who don't know what tall poppy syndrome is, I'm sure most of you do, it's where you cut the poppies that grow higher than the rest, you cut them down before when they get higher. And obviously that's a metaphor. But society that is gripped by this kind of thing, which is, Australian culture, which comes from British, or not British, but more like the lower class, Cockney culture.
Yes.
Is that before you can grow taller than the other toppies, you cut yourself down. Small poppy thinking. So you cut yourself down before anybody else notices you.
Self-sabotage.
Right? It's a form of self-sabotage. And it's a form of, I need to blend in, I don't want to stick out. Well, I don't see that as an admirable trait, and that's why we have this thing of this false sense of humbleness in this country, and people really venerate people who are humble, but then they're not venerating true humbleness; they're venerating the performance of humbleness.
Yeah.
And so what that becomes,
absolutely.
and I used to do this sort of in myself to a lesser degree than most, but still did it. When someone came up after a show and went, "Oh my God, that's the best thing, show I've seen ever, or in the year, or whatever," and I go, "Oh no, shit, no," the Aussie thing of dismissing it. And I remember seeing the look. This one particular point where someone came and gave me a beautiful compliment like that. And I did that. Oh, no. Because I am thinking, as artists, we think of our flaws. We think of our faults.
Of course.
And you should.
Yes.
So you can improve, but you shouldn't get fixated on them.
Yes.
Because there's an element of this worried about what other people think bullshit. Or there's a perfectionist. Perfectionism is not good. Stop being a perfectionist. Perfectionism is hyper selfishness. It's I want this to be so perfect that I can't let anybody else see it because I'm worried they're going to criticize it. People are going to criticize it anyway. You're going to criticize it.
And it's good to receive criticism anyway.
You'll love your thing and then you'll hate your thing, whatever you put out there. So that's all artists have to get over that. But in this moment, this person, and I'm thinking of the chords I got wrong or whatever it is, or what I could have done better, and things that are necessary but I shouldn't get consumed by, especially when I'm talking to someone who I've just gifted with an energy in a moment, right? And they've come to compliment me, and it was this exchange, and I shut it down, and I saw the light in them sort of die.
Yes.
And there's multiple levels on psychological levels to that, but the most important aspect was that compliment that they wanted to give me was a gift that they wanted to give me, but it was a gift that if when I receive it humbly, as in thank you, right, it's a gift to themselves. Why is it a gift? Because if in that moment I stopped that gift from happening, thinking, that of my negative thing, or as a lot of people do, which is playing the humble role, you have cut off the energy. You've created a breaking down of connection and robbed them of giving the gift. If you rob someone of giving a gift, the gift is so from that point on, I realized that, oh my God, this is when people give me a compliment, it's got nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. And they might not have the expert musician eyes to be able to see my faults, what I fucked up with. And that's great. That's part of the mystery and of the moment, because the energy was so good or relatable that they felt something, and that was my job. My job is to make them feel something. Yeah, making them. I see all art as a type of movement. Either you move them physically, move them mentally, move them emotionally, or move them spiritually. And the best types of art combine elements of those, if not all of them. It's movement. And so I moved that person. That person then was moved to want to gift it back. And that's the spiral. And then I could have gone, thank you. And from that point I did. Thank you. And then they get lifted up. And then...
They feel acknowledged.
It's the acknowledgement. So that moment, and it happened a long time ago, but that moment freed me of the burden as a performing artist to please anybody else. Yeah. It freed me to accept the compliments and give gratitude and create the art in that moment. Keep I'm doing this while playing, and the spiral energy is going up and up between me and the band and the audience, and they're giving good energy back, and we give it back hundredfold, and that's how it should go, right? And then after the show, it's the same thing, same exchange happening. And so that freed me to be able to, not care less about what people think of me.
Yes.
On top of, and I already had an element of that through the acting and
Yes.
years of performing, but it enables you to be more of an artist, to be in the art of them. And performing arts are different to creative arts. Performing, you may be doing music, but when you're performing music, you're a performing artist.
Yes.
That's on the body of musician.
Yes.
If you're an actor, you're a performing artist with acting as the base. If you're a dancer, So, I mean, look, the key things that I've spoken about so far, I guess, are make sure you're visualizing. And it's a muscle you get better at doing. I think kids are naturally good at it, as long as they're not inhibited and not being shut down. The kids are generally naturally good at it. We are too as adults at any age, but we can get weathered by life.
Yes.
And I went from being someone who was fantastic at visualization, and that visualization did lead me to play at Glastonbury Festival, did get me to play in front of 15,000 people here and 10,000 people there and on TV and on things. It got me on the big screen, on the small screen, all of those things. It got me to get a black belt in karate, and I'm close to black belt in Hapkido now. And that being able to visualize has enabled me to accomplish many things with this faculty. Not because I'm special, but because
you enable that.
It's because this an ability to focus on something and then have this self-discipline to make sure it happens. And there's plenty of areas in my life that I'm not good at, and we all have a bunch of things we're good at and that we can add to. We're not here for a long time, but how many blocks of 3 years do we have in our life? If we go on that as a theory, 10,000 hours or 3 years of focused intention on learning something new, how many blocks of 3 years have we wasted?
So much.
You could have already mastered that language.
Yes.
You could have already gotten that black belt. You could have already whatever it is that you wanted to learn that you've been putting off. That maybe you started and then it's been gathering dust in the corner. Well, and you have all the excuses, and they're usually genuine reasons. Oh, the kids, I don't have time. Well, Albert Einstein didn't have, he has the same amount of time that we have. We have the same 24 hours, and we all need to sleep a certain amount of that time. We all need to eat. What are you doing the rest of the time? And if we think about if we could leave this podcast with people watching and listening with one piece of inspiration, start thinking about what you're going to, achieve for yourself in the next 3 years. And then, I got this from a multimillionaire friend of mine who's just the happiest dude ever and, successful businessman, but he's full hippie. Ray from Herbal Highs, Happy High Herbs, Ray.
Oh, yeah.
So and I've had other people say this too, but have them in different aspects of your life as well. And actually a lot of, Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins stuff, all of those success gurus say the same thing. What are your financial goals? What are your passions? What are your relationship goals? What are your, fitness goals? All of that kind of stuff. Because you do need multiple levels of those multiple things. And you've got the capacity.
You have.
You can do it. You can combine those things. And, so for me, martial arts was where I could do my physical training so I keep fit.
Yes.
It's part of my movement meditation and still point meditation and just a whole range of things all in one.
Yes.
So you can find certain passions that cover a whole bunch of things. Yeah. Some are singular. Generally they're not. There's usually a few different things. And the older you get, the more things you need to learn. You need to start learning it, allotting, because if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So you need to make sure your brain is learning.
Yes.
And learning physical things, learning intellectual things, learning emotional things, learning spiritual things, all the time.
That's also like a decision to grow, to keep on growing, and I really like how I've seen or witnessed you through the decades of your growth. And I mean, you didn't have all the Christmas lights all the years, all every year, and there were times that was difficult, and that you overcome that. And I know that you held on to music, and there was one really, really hard time that you had, and then you were in the street playing music. You didn't stop. I remember one evening in front of the now Commonwealth Bank.
Oh, yeah.
In front of the Byronian cafe, you were there.
Oh, yeah. Gosh,
it was Byronian before, and I knew it was a really difficult time. That's before you actually went down to Melbourne for a while, and you know, you held yourself with grace, gracefully held yourself together, and then you because I know from practicing art, but I kind of understood why you hang on to the music as the foundation.
This is my therapy first.
Yes.
And a foundation. I lean on it a lot.
Yes.
It's easy access. I made it
but
a situation where it's low-hanging fruit. You know, the idea of low-hanging fruit. So many people try and reach the fruit at the top of the tree because that looks like a better colour. But if you're hungry, pick the low-hanging fruit first.
Yes.
They're easier to grab stuff.
Yes.
Because you need to satisfy a certain thing. Then you can worry about how you're going to get that fruit, or how it's going to drop, or whatever, right? Or get it before the bats get it, or whatever. But the point is, and by the way, thank you, and thank you for seeing that side of me. I've not always been graceful. I've had graceless, moments of disgrace.
It's just
disgraceful
for
behaviour and disgraceful elements, but I own it, and because I set my life up to have something to lean on like music, that there's not just an empty hole. And this is the other reason why you must have these things set up, these that will take a few years to get really good at, because these things, you're always going to have hard waves hit you, always going to have heavy. So that being able to manifest goodness in your life doesn't mean shit's not going to happen. Of course. And in those waves, whether you get, sometimes it'll just close out on you like and you get smashed by it. Other times you'll be able to surf that wave, that heavy shit, and that'll glide you out of the moment. If you've got something to lean on, or multiple somethings to lean on, because you've been using your time on this planet in an efficient enough way. And I'm done. And by the way, don't get heavy on yourself. No. Don't get negative on yourself if you, oh my God, I've wasted so much. Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. Yes. But then don't use that as another reason why you're not going to do this thing.
Yeah, just start doing
it. Don't make an excuse to spiral down. Make an excuse to spiral up. Yeah. You go, yeah, okay, great. But how much time, how many full moons you got left in this life? How many more sunsets or sunrises are you going to see in the rest of your life? Probably not that many in reality, right? Unless you're like you're a dawn person and you get up every day and you look at the sun every day. And I know people like that, and bloody hell, great, good on you. Anyway, the point is, there's not many, and it's like, well, just start it now. It's not too late. You're not too old. You're not too this. You're not too that. Yes. You're all you need is within you now. And there's an affirmation when I do my beach walks most days, which is, all I need is within me now. I might not know, like, I'm making music I'm really excited about at the moment, right? I released a song recently called Going Down to the Sea. Yes. And it's all about having a ritual, a habituated ritual, preferably to go into nature, but whatever it is, that where you can let go, where you can scream to down to the sea. In this particular one, you can yell to the ocean, you fall on your knees and beg, you fall on your knees and pray. You can walk, stroll, jog, whatever it is, or just look at the expanse and how vast it feels, and to find the lost pieces of yourself, the lost pieces of your mind, and bring them back and call them into yourself and get strong, get anchored. That song is about finding those things. Especially that song happened after, the last couple of years, really intense online divisionism. People being really vile to each other. It's still there now. Don't indulge in it. Do this other stuff. Do something creative. But I was over it, and I was down the beach, and I was just calling to that oneness. But bring me back into my power. I feel like I'm moving off my power. Someone had publicly defamed me and doxed me. A friend that used to be one of my besties. He was disgusting what he did and said, and it was absolute lies with tiny little slivers of truth that he twisted into toxic stuff and made this a public post. And, there was parts of me that wanted, and I talked to you about this last time I saw you, parts of me that wanted to defend myself. And then I was like, well, I don't need to defend myself. No. None of this
Time
is
wasting.
Real. If people believe that shit and they indulge in what we call lashon hara, evil tongue, they indulge in gossip, they're pulling themselves down. They don't want to ask me my perspective, or they believe what he or others has said about me without finding out my truth.
One side of the story
like,
is
I'm not
never
perfect. I've made flaws. I've made mistakes. I've done bad things. But it's like, but if you're going to judge me on that, who are you really judging? What part of yourself are you seeing in the words that someone else says about somebody else?
No, it's not even looking that far, just knowing that where is your common sense to not know that there's two sides of the story, and sometimes it's multiple sides of the story. There's
and the
his side
is
of
never,
it.
It's never on one side or the other.
Exactly.
Somewhere in between. It might lean more one way, but it's not the whole.
Yeah.
So I was in that, and I went down to sea and I did that, and then this song came through and I went, bam. I'm excited about the music I'm making now. The next single's coming out in a few weeks.
Oh yeah.
It's on a similar thread. It's more about finding, leaning into your ancient roots of where you come from, because that's important too.
Oh, you lose identity without that, without acknowledging that.
And leaning into your tribe. And so it's more to it than that. But and each of these songs are an expression of finding your inner power. And so, I'm excited about the music, and I've been making music. I've been writing songs since I was a little kid, before I could even play an instrument.
Wow.
And to be excited in that way again.
Oh yeah,
it's nice.
It's nice. It's a beautiful feeling.
And there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of saturation, and we have a lot of choice of platforms to absorb. We can watch endless amounts of TV shows and movies on endless amounts of streaming devices. Same with music.
Yeah.
Same with online. We can get access to anything just from a flick of our finger.
Yeah.
And which is, but it's a magic and amazing if it's directed and you're not being consumed by it. If you're able to utilize it, if you're an artist or any person with a business, utilize those things to get you out there, what you want to do in the world, and what you want to, how you want the world to be a better place. That we have these tools, these magical tools, but so that's what I'm excited about at the moment. Yeah,
but the lesson from what you've just told me about gossips, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
And it led you to write,
express it,
and so. But that's the thing, that you use unpleasant things as a stepping stone to leap into the positivity.
Sure.
And that,
to get centered.
Yeah, it's just rather than dragging yourself into the drama and get involved, you say, well, here's the situation, I don't want to involved in this. I'm just going to step on it and jump to the next better level. And I'm going to make a song out of it, or whatever.
Yeah, and look, for me, I've set my life up so that if I don't make a song out of it, or some kind of expression through any of the things that I've learned through life, then it gets stuck.
Yes.
And when something gets stuck in your system, it becomes disease, and then real disease.
Of course.
And that's the other reason why you need to lot these 3-year little lots. What are you going to learn in the next few years? Because that thing can pull you out of the drama. And help you use the drama. So I'm not scared of drama. I'm not scared of conflict. I've trained in conflict.
Yeah.
I prefer not to have them.
Yes.
But I know that conflict and drama, I can milk it for what it is and turn it into creations.
Yeah.
And I know that, the next acting role that I do, whatever it ends up being, it's been a number of years now since I did a film.
What was your last movie?
One Less God.
One Less God.
And it was an award-winning film. It was great. You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Of course I did.
It's intense.
Yeah.
But, Juicy, I loved that, doing that film.
I love it.
But, that, or whatever drama you have, for me, as a performing artist, creative artist, one day I will act and I'll probably be able to draw on that drama of that betrayal of that friend that decided to defame me publicly. What a child. What a grown-up child. Do something better with your life. If you're watching this, you probably will. But all of you out there, if you're indulging in gossip, right? Look, I understand that people feel awkward and they want to be accepted, and so when someone starts gossiping about somebody else, it's a point of connection. There's so much better things to connect with.
Yeah.
And you're better off quickly, because there's karma involved. I believe in karma. I believe there is a superconscious being observing us, being us all the time. It's not over there somewhere, up there somewhere. It's right here, right now, right inside of you, seeing your thoughts, being your thoughts. So change them. You've got the gift of free will. You can make different choices. Don't indulge in gossip.
Like the song from Scorpion, we all walk under the same sun. Uh-huh. It's not like you're going to fly out from this planet and disappear after that gossip, because others will be watching as well.
Yeah, look, there's an ancient Jewish song, a Hebrew song, translates as the narrow bridge. That we're all walking across a very narrow bridge together. And,
you can't afford to
don't be pushing each other.
Yeah.
And don't, we're going together on this, and we're, that's what this life is on this incarnation, in this planet, in this dimension. Just a narrow bridge.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's the other main precept in indigenous Jewish culture, and it is an indigenous Jewish culture, is indigenous.
Yes.
It's not a religion. This is another thing that people get confused.
Oh, different. Yeah.
And I understand why they get confused.
Religion and tradition is different.
There's a whole thing. There's a whole thing. It's an indigenous tradition, and its main precept is to love the other as yourself. Mm-hmm. That's the first and primary precept in that ethnic indigenous cultural understanding.
So this would be like the Christians say, love your neighbors as yourself.
Yeah, it comes straight from the Torah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing in your life where you're not enacting that? Because we all do it. We all have selfishness and we all have these things. Oh yeah. But like every day, there's an understanding through the Kabbalah that every person that you meet, either inside your heart or actually physically bow before them. And because what does that do? They don't need to know. So, I mean, you can bow, literally bow. Yes. And why not? The Japanese do it with everybody. I think that's beautiful.
It's an acknowledgement.
But at least inside of yourself to bow before them, because if you love the oneness of this
they're
world,
a part of you.
Right? Then you love what the super consciousness has created, all of its flaws. And so you bow before it. Everything is sacred. Everyone is sacred. That doesn't mean you have to put up with crap, by the way. You can cut people out of your life, no problem.
Of course.
Right? If you do that,
I think not necessarily cut, but you disengage yourself from this
I have no problem with some people I do not ever have to see again.
Oh, yeah.
We no longer serve a purpose for each other.
Exactly.
And they were either a lesson, or
good reasons.
Yeah, good reason, and a lesson is a good reason.
It is, yeah.
Right? Because you are who you are right now, and if you love who you are right now, it's a result of all of the hardships you've gone through, including the people that gave you lessons. Whether you learnt the lesson from it, it's a whole other thing. But Go to the other practice is to go to bed. You do your visualization. Should be the last thing, just as your consciousness is slipping into the ultimate dimension, right? You do your prayers of protection because that bridge between there's a vulnerability there, but also your brainwave state is going from the beta brainwave state, the awake state, through alpha into theta and delta. And in that moment, when whatever you're visualizing, that's when you're most connected to the ultimate source, which is a creative source. It's a loving source. And it wants you to succeed. It being a part of yourself. You cannot extract yourself from it.
I think you feel it. Once you get to that balance, you actually feel it. And ta-da, time's over.
It's all right. No, we can finish it.
And it comes with gratitude.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, gratitude is what pulls you out of the self-centeredness, the selfishness. And personally, that's probably been one of my personal biggest struggles is the whole gratitude thing.
Why?
I've had to train that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A lot of people have seen that, sometimes people will say things to me about me to my face, and I'll be like, and it's really positive and really beautiful, and I'm like, maybe I'm not thinking about that in myself, and I'm like, and I think everyone has experienced this where they just like, oh no, I'm selfish and do this, and you think of all these bad things. Right?
Yes, I have.
We're all.
We have internal dialogues. I have that. You're not alone.
And you think, well, that's bullshit. I'm not a nice person.
Oh, well, I know I'm nice at least. Not nice. I'm actually not nice. I'm kind. I know the difference.
Yeah. I'm not a kind person. No, I have to go through. I've had to go in times in my life, not all the time, but I've gone through. I'm like, but if they're seeing that in me, they're seeing something deeper in me than I'm not allowing myself. My ego is blocking myself from seeing.
It's you who put the curtains, the black curtains.
Yeah, not the own ego, and then I have to take a moment and go, oh, right, okay, wait, I'm being a bit hard on myself, aren't I? I am kind. Wait, I've done this and this and this. So, and it is one of those things. What are you doing that's good on the planet? Take it before you go to sleep, before you even get to that visualization thing. And if you need help with that stuff, look up stuff like Neville Goddard and look in the Kabbalah. These things talk about this stuff. But prior to that, forgive people.
Oh yes, it's such a crucial thing.
So there's this prayer that I do every night, and some nights is really hard. I do the prayer anyway, and sometimes there's a person that I avoid. This is being I shouldn't reveal this, but sometimes there's a person that has fucking upset me in some way.
You're still
and
human.
I try not to think of them in that moment when I'm forgiving. And I'm like, no, that's the person I need to forgive. But I'm not ready yet. And it's okay to not be ready, but you still say it for them anyway, because the process will get you through. It might not be that night.
Yeah.
And I don't want to stir up the negative feelings, like that person, for example, I brought up before.
Yeah.
For months,
Not anymore. You don't.
I was like, for months. Yeah. And I was like, I get to I do my gratitude thing, get to my forgiveness thing, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. And I'm like, fuck him. Like, no. But forgiving someone, as we know, is about yourself. It's to relieve yourself of the toxin of holding on to something negative.
It's more like.
But sometimes you're not ready, and that's okay.
But it's more like the practice.
Do it anyway.
More like the practice of forgiving yourself, of not knowing any better how to handle this situation as well, dealing with this kind of mentality.
Just pull it back. And what you can do in that moment is when, one practice I've guided people through in different times is just get your magic sword from Archangel Muriel and slice all of the tentacles of thoughts that have gone out to other people. Bring those tentacles back. I call them tentacles, like lines of energy that when you think of someone positively or negatively, they're going and touching themselves to people just psychically on your. Cut them bring them all back into yourself. And then anything that other people are bringing towards you, cut those off and send them back to them. If you can't forgive that person in that moment, do that. It'll help. And then just let the source of all creation and the core of Mother Earth burn it. Burn the negativity still around that person. You'll be able to forgive them at some point, and that'll be all about you when you realise it. But it's like, it's a process. It's not a this or that and you do this and it instantly works. Nothing is like that. Well, some things are sometimes, but
things take a process. When you do this practice of forgiveness, I have a certain way of doing it. I'm curious about yours. What do you imagine of that person when you're doing that process? What do you imagine of that person to be forgiven? What do you imagine?
Well, there's a few levels to it for me, and sometimes I spend more time with it, and sometimes I just get the basics down.
Right.
Sometimes it's just get it done, and it's a bit like this or this. Sometimes prayer isn't always about generating the feeling. Obviously, the most powerful prayer is generating the actual feeling with the visualization and everything. Other times, it's about doing the reps. But you do. That's why I'm saying just do it anyway. Even if you can't forgive them or do the reps of the prayer. Have a specific prayer that you say every night. Jews, we have a specific prayer. It's a long one too, and you go through it and you go, Master of the universe, allow me to forgive anyone who's hurt me in any way. And this is all in sacred language, of course, but hurt me in any way, whether it be against my body, my money, my character, and whether it's in a previous incarnation or a future incarnation, and it goes through a list of all the potential, whether they meant to, whether they did it willingly, or if they did it unwittingly, whether they didn't mean to, and go through all of the possible things as a list of things to forgive them for, and make sure that they are not punished for doing that thing, and then you go, any sin or anything that I have done, please purge me, clean me and purge me and forgive me, and not through illness or evil action or anything that will hurt me or my family or my people I love, and go through that process. So those words, if they're not enough to elicit the thought, then I try and think of that person as a helpless 5-month-old baby, or as a 100-year-old grandparent who are beyond the functioning of they're weak and they're helpless, or mostly helpless. And I try and see them because they have been that, or if they're lucky, they will become that. And so, that's a way to generate compassion. You don't have to put up with their crap, though. This is the other thing. This is not, I have to forgive someone who's been abusive to me and has no intention of changing that abuse, and I'm putting myself in that. No, you don't pull yourself or your family away from that, or your loved ones away from that abuse, and forgive them because you need relief of not thinking about them. And because hatred and frustration and not forgiving someone for what you think they have done is like drinking poison and expecting them to die, that old saying, and you don't want to do. That's why you have to find a place to forgive. That's there's some of the things I do. Different. There's other techniques.
Other techniques.
Sometimes it's just it's more about light and burning negativity with light and not words or something emotive. What do you do?
I do. It's funny because if somebody did something wrong to me, if it's a little thing over racism stuff, I get over it. Like I'm so used to it. I've got thick skin. It's like nothing. But the really hard stuff, I actually imagine them smiling, and slowly imagine them laughing. So basically imagine them in a state of happiness. Because what I understood from very, very young age was that when I observe in my society growing up, when they're happy, whoever's happy and is surrounding me, they leave me alone. This was to do with children.
Yeah.
All the happy children, they leave me alone. They don't bother me. They don't say bad things. They just play with me.
Yeah.
And they kind of have this supporting. It's like, this sharing, that sort of something beautiful in it. When someone's not happy, then they start picking. They start bullying. And
they're in pain inside somewhere.
Yes,
they don't want to feel
they're
that
not
pain,
getting something
so
from
they
someone.
Outsource.
Well, the reason I did that, I had that awareness because I was always the loner, always a lone child, and I was always looking different, and I was always excluded from groups. I never have, even up to teenage, up to now. And that's why, I have just mainly male friends because we don't gossip. I don't belong to, I don't even know how to talk about clothes and where we get our shoes. And I just don't belong to, neither did I try to ever put myself to belong. And so then, I just noticed when they're happy, they leave you alone. So imagine them in that state, and like somehow I just disengage naturally from anything, and so I don't then focus on what they've done to me. And it takes years, but it takes years of constantly practice this.
That's what
These
I'm talking
pictures,
about.
the picture. You have
to do the thing. You have to do the do.
And then once in a
Exercise
while,
that
of course,
muscle.
once in a while, it's like, oh, what an asshole. You go like that. And then you think, I have to tell myself loudly, in my mind sometimes, just loudly and repetitiously, it's like, don't think like that. Don't say that. Say the opposite. Think the opposite.
It's
I
interesting.
have to.
We were talking about gossip earlier, and I remember for decades, one of the pieces of advice I would give people in certain situations was that if you say something negative about something or someone, right, make sure that, don't shame yourself for doing it, and don't shame them for doing it, for whatever. If you say something negative about someone or something, like it could be an event or a situation, say 3 positive things about that person or situation or event. That and the reason I say 3 is because we're kind of conditioned to focus so much on the negative, and it's easy to lean into the negative, and that will spurn on more negative things to say about that person or event or thing. We could say, at least say one thing, but there's still a disbalance, because if you started on this, you've disbalanced to this. So if you say 3 things, it really makes you think, especially if it's about someone. You're like, okay, and it doesn't have to be complex. It can just be like,
very simple.
Their mum loves them. Well, is that good about them? Okay, wait, they love their mum. Okay, or you just try and find, even though I think they're an ugly twat. Oh, whoops. They really wear those pants well. Or something.
They have nice hair.
It can be shallow like
smile.
that.
Yeah.
It can be deeper. It doesn't really matter. Just 3 positive things about that person.
Yeah.
And if you do that enough, you start not wanting to do the negative thing, because thinking of 3 things is freaking exhausting.
That's a nice one.
But it gets you into a positive, and gets the positive getting a little bit more in the world.
Yeah.
Because Tikkun Olam, we're here to heal the world, and that can only happen by putting more positivity into the world than we are putting negativity. Yeah, you can do negative things, just balance it out by overbalancing a little bit towards positive, because there's plenty of negative to balance your extra positive out anyway.
Yes.
So you just do a little bit extra and make up for the other negative things you may have done in the past. That's why 3 over 1. Shit, do more if you want to, but if you relegate it to just that, you will get better at thinking of positive things generally. You'll get better at not immediately leaning into the negative about things and people. And you'll find that it's too much thought and too negative. I don't want to waste that much energy thinking about other people in negative or positive. I want to focus on my goals. I want to focus on how to make the world a better place. And if I'm busy thinking about people instead of my purpose, I'm wasting fucking time.
Oh yeah.
So make it exhausting.
It's so true. Because from practicing this thing, you learn. Once you let go of the negative thinking, you'll soon really learn that other people's opinion is not your business, and and the fact that we know just to accept that people have the right to say anything they want about you. No matter what you do in your life, if someone's going to say something, they're always going to refute you. So what you're building as a character, it's up to you again. So then the priority is really you and what you're building, what you're progressing through. And
absolutely,
the reputation is not your business, because people are responsible for what. They're only responsible for what they say. You're responsible for how you receive it. That's what I would always apply.
Or was that old story about the Buddha and the psycho serial killer that came to kill him?
Oh yes, the Zen master. I was telling you the story. So what happened was the Zen student. He came rushing, and Zen master was meditating, came rushing, and he said, Master, tell me about heaven, tell me about hell. And Zen master said, he was calm and took his time and said, well, for a fool like yourself, what would you understand? And it triggers the anger in him, the disappointment, the rejection, whatever, some form of resentment. And he pulled a sword, threatened to harm the Zen master, and the Zen master said, that's hell. He put the sword back in the case. He said, that's heaven.
Oh, nice.
It's so profound.
Yeah. It's a different story, but it's very similar.
Oh, really?
So the one I
heard
when I was like a teen, because my mum's a Tibetan Buddhist nun, was that there was a warlord who was winning battles all over the place, killing multiple people, and he was like, this Buddha guy. People kept saying, yeah, but you're still not as powerful as the Buddha, and he went, I'm going to kill that mofo, and turns up and said, I'm going to, in an Aussie accent, because that's what they had then, I'm going to bloody well kill you, cunt. And the Buddha said, thank you for your gift, but I do not accept it. And that's what you were talking about before, which is what people say about you is it's a poisonous gift that you don't need to accept. And you're right, it's none of your business. Often I've had family or friends who've just gone through a breakup, and then they start talking about their ex, and I'm like, what they're doing is none of your business. Exactly. What they say is none of your business. Yeah. What do you mean it's not my business? It's like, well, I've got a kid with them. It's like, no, but it's still, when you make it your business, you become stressed. You're pulling yourself down. So just make it not your business.
Yeah, in a way, it's
what
also
they choose to do from this point on, who they choose to see, has nothing to do with you, and you're more free if you just go, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and be friends. Just be in friendly terms. Be in friendly terms with the situation. Let them enjoy their life.
Be friends with the person that you used to love.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to be friends with them now. Just let them go. Let them make their own choices. Yeah. It's none of your business. And that's the same with gossip and people gossiping about you. It's none of your business. It's like the people that believe things about you, they always wanted to believe something negative about you.
Oh, some people are committed to misunderstanding.
Yeah,
anyway.
But there's a part of them that somewhere they've judged you, and they're just waiting for that negative thing to come, for someone to say, oh yeah. Let them.
Oh,
just let them.
That's so low.
Because if they're real people, they will come to you and ask you about it, or they'll just right from the get-go, that's not my experience. If they do care about you in any way, shape or form, and they've ever had a good connection with you at any point in time, they will go, that's not been my experience. And we all have the ability to pull out the negative in other people. And so I may not be that person that pulls the negative out of that person, but you are, which means that's got to do with you. If you've made that person behave, if you've not made them, but if you've inspired that person to behave in a negative way, this isn't all cases, so there's something about you that triggered off something about them. And for you, that person is toxic and you should not be associated. That's not what I got from that person. And I'm not going to judge that person based on your experience.
Yeah.
That's a poison I'm not going to swallow. And this is when you come to the 10 utterances, which are the 10 commandments. But it's there's no translation where commandments is an actual word.
Yes.
And it's that came in with Catholicism.
Right.
But in Hebrew it comes as the 10 utterances.
Utterances.
And one of those utterances is, you shall not murder. And yes, it means don't actually premeditatively go and murder someone. It doesn't mean you can't kill someone if they are trying to kill you and your family.
Yes.
You can. You can defend yourself. That is okay. You may be triggered by that, but you think about it. Would you allow your 5-year-old kid to be murdered by someone who is going to do that? No. If your only way out is to kill them, you could do that. It's not saying not to kill, it's saying not to murder, which is a premeditative thing. It's a plan to end someone's life.
Yeah.
There's that level of it, and everybody just stops there. But it's not just that. What it actually is, on a more practical daily level, is that when you gossip about someone, what you're essentially doing, say I'm gossiping to you about that person, right? So I'm going, did you hear? And it may be true. Look, it may be true, but your experience of that person is, maybe you've had no experience with that person, right? Let's say it's that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you about this, gossiping about this person, and you're getting a picture in your mind about who this person is. So what I've essentially done is I've murdered any positive element of their character. I've murdered your potential perception of that person. So that if you ever meet that person, the way life works, often you end up meeting that person.
I'm already judgmental.
You may have a premeditated version of them that I've fed to you about, and then you can't meet that person cleanly.
Yeah.
And they may be being so nice to you and you're there going...
It's a murder of character.
Right? It's a murder of character. So you shall not murder is actually what that means.
Yeah.
If it is someone you already know, maybe you've had a great experience, or maybe you've just had neutral experience and they've not been good, not been bad. Suddenly this person gossips and then they form a bad idea of them. And you may be able to meet that person and that shifts, but it'll never be the innocent initial meeting, or that previous perception is always gone from that point on forever. There's murdered that part of their life force has been killed.
Oh yes. And
so that's what one of the number 7 is. Number 6. So well, for those out there, there's one God, oneness. It's oneness. It's all one. Doesn't matter what name you use.
Yes.
It's just all oneness. We're part of the one. You should not bow before other gods. That mostly means don't dive into ego. It's like, in the misinterpretations of what that means is like, you should love my God's better than yours. No, it's not about that. And it's even not necessarily about all the little idols. Whether you got a little Buddha statue and a Saraswati statue and whatever different things that you place sacredness into is dangerous, because it takes you away from the oneness that we are in. It puts it outside yourself. But also, if you are indulging in your ego in a way that is like, say you're quick to anger, and then you're saying that it's like you're bowing before an aspect of your ego, and is more important and reacting is more important. And so it's saying, don't bow before that. Bow before the oneness. Bow before the namaste, the om swastiastu, the deep oneness within me recognizes the deep oneness within you. Bow before that. So, number one, all oneness. Two, you should bow before no other gods. So no other things like ego and stuff.
No ego.
I've bumped this so many times it's down. Three, don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Oh yeah.
Which is this is not about blaspheming language. It's actually monitor what you say. Like we're talking about gossip before.
Yeah. I mean, language is a gift from the mighty, from the powerful.
Totally. And
that's
use
it carefully.
There's a God within you. So your self-criticism in your head is breaking this rule. If you're criticizing yourself, you're criticizing the perfection of the God being within yourself.
Yeah.
And so don't take it in vain. You're part of God. You're part of the oneness. Whatever word I'm saying God right now, and a lot of people react to the word God. I'm reclaiming God. I'm not using the term the universe.
No.
It's too dry. It's too sterile. And yes, it's comfortable for those who believe in science, which I do inherently. But it's a way to sort of dismiss
it's almost like take
the
something.
religions as put a taint on the word God. Use whatever you want. Yahweh, Wakantanka, the Aboriginal word Baami. It doesn't matter what, or Atman or Allah or Jehovah or whatever you want to use for the oneness. Just remember, don't use that one word. One word can't encapsulate it. It's dangerous. In Hebrew we say Hashem, the name. You don't even say the name. You acknowledge that we can't say it because it reduces it. It's within you and intrinsically. So don't abuse yourself in any way, shape, or form, because you are then taking the God name, in you, the Hashem name in you, in vain. This is the Shabbat candles for the rest day. What that means is keep it sacred and holy. What that actually means is make sure you set aside time every day, preferably, but at least one day a week where you're not distracted by any of worldly things. You're not working, you're not on your devices, you're just in presence with your family and with spirit, with nature.
With friends.
That's what this
with
means.
Anyone, with others. Yeah.
The Shabbat thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Honor your mother and father. I think being respectful of your ancestors is something that all Indigenous cultures have intrinsically.
Yes.
And we seem to have lost in secular society. And your parents, one of your parents or both your parents may have been abusive or whatever, but they still gave you life.
Yeah.
Something, or the people that raised you still sacrificed something for you to be who you are right now, where you are.
And
they made faults and they made mistakes, but I bet you they did lots of good things too.
And they probably didn't live the best life to what they want anyway, to how they would like to have their life.
There's twice the 10 utterances are said in the Torah, and one in the Deuteronomy it says, honor your mother and father so that you may live a long and abundant life. Your level of abundance can be limited by how much you dishonor or disrespect or honor and respect your parents and your ancestors going back.
It's very traditional, this stuff, because in my culture is like this, and so until today, because that was from childhood that I learned from very young age, I don't dare to disrespect my parents no matter what. I don't dare to. I have one time argue on the phone with my mom. Oh, you have no idea. I was crying for months because I have never done it, but I was very weak and pick over a small thing and argue. I regret.
Why do we do it as kids? Because we know that they love us unconditionally.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can get away with it. They're still going to love us.
Yes, but that was in my adult life,
I know. I said things to my mom and to my dad in my adult life that I learned to regret.
And I don't ever want to do it again. And I mean, I have family members that were influencing my way of thinking, and I was very weak. It's not their fault. It was me being really weak and not using my senses to to reason and say to myself, well, I know my mom. I know my mom the way you never know my mom. Yeah, your version of my mom is different to my version of my mom. Even let's say if you're my cousin or my sibling, I mean the version of my
Each
mom.
sibling will have a different version.
Yeah, the version that my dad has of my mom is different.
Different.
And so the version that my mom has of herself.
And none of your business.
Exactly. And so
my mum passed away, and 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was some unresolved stuff. I thought I resolved it all.
Yeah.
But there was some unspoken, unresolved stuff, and I've then not had the real. I can't just call her and go, I'm sorry about what I said this time.
Yeah.
And I have to go through the pain of that.
Wow.
And if your parents are still alive, please go and do what you can to forgive them for their flaws, and then do what you can to respect and be grateful to them. And it doesn't mean that you don't go through your teenage years of rebelling, because you need to find your independent self, and that's okay. And it's really hard as a parent when your kids go through that phase, but it is what it is. Yeah. But as long as you grow the fuck up and at another point and realize they're just a human, they did the best they could.
Yeah,
they made lots of mistakes, but you're still you, aren't you? And you're happy with who you are? Because if you're not happy with who you are, that's really the issue. Honor your mother and father, so that you will live a long life with abundance. And if you're struggling, fix that part up. Yeah. Then it's mind and spirit. Mind. Anyway, whatever the MAS. So murder is number 6. Do not murder, and we talked about that before. Yes. Do not steal, and A is the adulterer. Do not cheat. So don't cheat on your family or friends and the people you love, and in relationship. But be honest with where you're at. I've done that so many times. I've abused that one so many times. We've done all of them, I know, but not in this current relationship. So, and then steal. Don't steal. And that can happen in multiple different ways, not just physical stealing. And so the last 2, you can break it down to the L. Don't lie, right? And jealousy. Don't covet other people's things. So if you lie, don't lie to yourself first, right? And the jealous thing, do not covet other people's things. If you're coveting other people's things and covet their wife or their house or their whatever, and I've gone through this a lot, where I'm like jealous of someone else's career, like they've gotten more success than I have, and they got further in, and I'm struggling, and I'm like, and I get into that. I've gotten into that so many times, the jealousy, or the thing about it is that it takes you away from your visualization. Yes. It stops you believing what you can do.
Yeah, because you're measuring yourself in comparison.
Yeah, comparison is a theft of joy. And as soon as you do this thing, so a lot of people dismiss the 10 commandments or 10 utterances as being this rigid, religious things, because Catholicism turned it into that. But what it actually is a gift of, like, this is life, and there's a rule book. That you don't have to obey all of them, but if you don't, there's repercussions to each of these things. They're logical. They make sense. They make your life better. So why wouldn't you go, oh, okay, wait. It all depends on the interpretation.
Yes.
And I'm not going to Bible bash you. I don't give a shit what you believe in. You can find it through any religion. You can find it through any spiritual tradition, as long as you apply that self-discipline and you're doing it every day. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is.
And stealing comes with not just, taking something.
That juice is so good, and I want more.
There's more. There. Get it.
There's hardly any left. I won't take it all. But anyway.
No, there's
we got to wrap it up.
There's another one.
Oh my God, I've got to go and pick up my kids.
Yeah, okay. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Then,
so we've just solved all the world's problems. Well done. High five.
I love you, my beautiful friend. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have the juice, by the way.
Bye-bye. You can go to nathankaye.com.
Oh, yes.
The site's being changed over at the moment.
And listen,
go to your streaming platforms. Put Going Down to the Sea on your playlist. Have a listen to it. It's deeper than you think.
Tell them about your radio show quickly.
My radio show is Living Your Arts Off. It's on Bay FM on Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every week.
And watch his movies.
And you can watch my movies, you listen to my music. There's a song called Watcher, Watching the Watcher that I released a bunch of years ago.
Can you repeat it?
Watcher. I am the watcher, watching the watcher, watching me.
That's so cool.
Ooh, I'm the watcher, watching the watcher,
Yo,
watching
by
me.
the way, he's the world first. He's dubbed the world first beatboxer on.
Didgeridoo beatboxer. Yes, I was. Yeah.
Yes, you are. Super cool star.
Yeah. One man band.
funky
You see me around the traps?
Yes.
Come and
Where's
say
your
hello.
next gig? Where and when?
On Sunday, it's up in Tambourine.
Okay.
Locally. Then the week after that, Lennox Hotel. On the
yes.
Sunday, the 24th.
All right.
And after that, I can't remember. But there's just look in Byron.
Gig guide.
Yeah, you can do the Echo Gig Guide, or you can look at. The one I've been enjoying even more lately is the Byron Times. Is it?
Is there a new one?
It's been around for a while now, but
no,
they're
you
really
Byron
good.
News, is it?
No, there's Byron News. No, that's different. The Byron Coast Times.
Oh,
so there's Tweed
yes,
Coast
that
Times.
one.
There are a bunch of them, and Lismore Times. But Byron Coast Times, I think it's called. It's not widely distributed. It's pretty cool. They've got
Because I haven't
they did
read
a
the
double-page
Echo.
article on me a few months ago. It was
Oh,
so
beautiful.
good. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. More to read about you.
Well, yeah, that was
I'm lucky. I don't read about you. I just go and see you.
Face to face is better.
Well,
Yeah.
there we go.
Lots of love. See you. Keep your life fresh, alive, and beautiful. You can do it. Let's go.
Yes.